Good morning, everyone. My name is Adam Nelson, and today this is my audience. This is Ian Ritter, and this is Josh Hunsaker filming. Unfortunately, we did have a third person, but he was not able to come because the last second he bailed out. He didn't have permission to come due to all the coronavirus issues that are going on right now. But today we are happy to be here. I will be talking about 4 common persuasive strategies in advertising to the mass media. Now, I know that's kind of a lot to take in. That's kind of a big title, but don't worry, it's pretty simple, it's pretty broken down. In essence, what I'll be talking about are commercials and different persuasive strategies that are used in commercials. There will be 4 strategies that I'll be talking about today. The first one is the famous person testimonials, plain old folks approach, the snob appeal approach, and the bandwagon effect. These are 4 different techniques that can be used to have people purchase their products and have their company grow even more. Number 1 is the famous person testimonial. This is when you have a commercial and you include someone famous, therefore sparking interest in the audience. Now, most commercials are usually about 30 seconds, a little bit longer depending on the commercial, but usually you have 30 seconds to give everything you need information-wise and for your customer to want to buy the product. It's a lot to do in 30 seconds, so there's very necessary strategies that are needed taking place if you want the sales to go up. Having these famous people in commercials is a very beneficial way to do it because people recognize them, they have a trust and a bond that they form with them immediately, and it can be amusing at times as well. There are 3 things that it can be used for and that what it helps with. The first thing is that it gets them to want to buy the product. They think, well, if this person purchases that product, then I should do that as well. I mean, if it's good enough for him, it's good enough for me, right? Second thing is that it builds brand awareness. Even if they don't purchase the product immediately, they start to hear the name, they get familiar with it, and they're planting those seeds for later on. And the last thing is it can breathe life into a failing company. Some commercials are very popular and can be like one-hit wonders, and that can be just enough to boost up their sales. Now, one of my favorite commercials series that have been going on lately has been with Hulu. Personally, when I think of Hulu, before I'd seen these types of commercials, it didn't really click in my head. I didn't really know exactly what it was. But now that they have very famous people into it, all of them are athletes such as Damian Lillard, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Todd Gurley, and Baker Mayfield. This allows us to have a connection, especially basketball. I'm huge into basketball. So when I saw these commercials and they say that Hulu has live sports, I didn't really realize that before, and now we have Hulu at our house, and they did a really good job. Each of these commercials are only about 30 seconds long as well. Now, one of my favorite videos of these Hulu videos I'll be showing you is done by a member who are one of the NBA teams, whose team most likely would have made the finals this year had the season not been ended due to the coronavirus. And this is Joel Embiid. I'd like to show you this commercial to give you an example of the type of commercial it is.
Yo, thank you. Joel, Hulu has live sports than me? I thought your nickname was The Process. Not anymore. All right.
You think you could sign this without the Hulu has live sports?
Legally, nah.
Nah?
Nah.
Kinda weird.
Mr. Lee, why'd you change your nickname?
Money. Hulu has live sports. Hulu has live sports.
Very amusing, only about 30 seconds long. And Joel Embiid was the focus of that. For example, if Joel Embiid has Hulu, then other people are going to want it as well. The second approach is the plain old folks approach. It contrasts the first approach with the famous people, and it's more for an everyday feel kind of person. It's usually not as much humor is into it. It's ordinary people, and more trust can be put into it because it's not a technique that is as obvious. It's more of a subtle technique that is used. For example, Honey Nut Cheerios and other cereal commercials use this a lot. Just having ordinary kids eat cereal and knowing that it can be applicable to anyone, that you don't have to be famous, you can just be an ordinary person. Now this picture from the subway, he's holding a giant pair of pants, and that's can mean that eating at Subway is a lot healthier, and that over time that you'll be losing a lot of weight doing it. And a lot of people throughout the nation are trying to lose weight, and it's a very good technique. The definition is that plain old folks appeal is the use of ordinary people to promote a product or service. The goal is to show that the product or service is of appeal and value to everyone. The plain old folks appeal is in contrast to the use of celebrities in advertisements. And I'd like to show a commercial about this one as well.
When it comes to getting my family to eat breakfast, I could use all the help I can get. Like Nutella, a delicious hazelnut spread. It's perfect on multi-grain toast, even whole wheat waffles, for a breakfast that my kids love and I feel good about serving. And Nutella is made with simple, quality ingredients like hazelnuts, skim milk, and a hint of cocoa. It's quick, easy, and something everyone can agree on. Nutella, breakfast never tasted this good.
Picky eaters are in a lot of families throughout the world. And that just showed exactly how an ordinary family can be benefited by using Nutella. You don't have to be famous to use it, but you can just be an ordinary person and it will benefit your life. The advantage of this is it makes it a lot more applicable. The third appeal is the snob appeal approach. And the definition of this is the snob appeal attracts audiences into believing that they'll be part of an elite or special group if they buy a product or service or buy into an idea. The reason I have some pictures of Squidward up here is because Squidward is, in a nutshell, the audience when it comes to this type of people. This is the type of audience that the people who are trying to sell to. Why? To give a little bit of background, in this episode, Squidward, it's called Artist Unknown, that's the name of the episode, and they found a piece of art that had been unidentified of who made it, though SpongeBob made it, but the main art guy who was looking for the credit didn't know who it was, and he asked Squidward if he knew, and he said that if he found this person, that they'd have fame, fortune, and anything they really wanted. Squidward really would like some hair, and so he jumped on board and he lied and said, I made it, I did it. And he did that because he wanted fame, he wanted fortune, and anything that he could have ever dreamed of. There are commercials out there that make you believe if you buy this product that you're going to be in that elite group, that you're going to have these things you've never wanted, that you've always wanted, such as the fame, fortune, and anything else really. And I'd like to give an example of this in the next commercial.
Just skip it.
Hello, ladies. Look at your man. Now back to me. Now back at your man. Now back to me. Sadly, he isn't me. But if he stopped using lady-scented body wash and switched to Old Spice, he could smell like he's me. Look down. Back up. Where are you? You're on a boat with the man your man could smell it. What's in your hand? Back at me. I have it. It's an oyster with 2 tickets to that thing you love. Look again. The tickets are now diamond. Anything is possible when your man smells like Old Spice and not a lady. I'm on a horse.
That commercial showed how if you use that body wash, that you're going to be separated and be a man just like him. The last approach I'd like to talk about is the bandwagon effect. Especially in sports, this is a common term when you jump ships or onto a popular idea or something that's trending. Emerging trends, things that are relatively new, and for someone who's hard to know what they want to do, this is a great approach because it gives them opinion before they can form one. Now, really quick, I'd like to end with an example. The other week, we were eating at a brick oven, and we all ordered the same thing. And Ian was actually the last one to order. He wasn't sure what to get, and since all of us had gotten the same thing and he wasn't sure what to get, he decided to go with it as well. That's the bandwagon effect in play. So in review, number 1 is the famous person testimonial. Number 2, plain old folks approach. 3, snob appeal approach. And 4, the bandwagon effect. Thank you.